to the game, players never change. I got hustle in my veins, and I ain't been the same since I learned to slang. I ain't got no time to hang. I'm married to the game, players never change. I got hustle in my veins.
All right. Welcome, audience. Welcome, Facebook audience. We're not on Twitter yet. We need to put Twitter together. Facebook audience, YouTube, and everybody on Apple Podcasts and
OnlyFans.
Spotify. OnlyFans, bro. We need to start OnlyFans. But Mike is already dropping hot ones.
Custard.
Welcome, audience. Thank you so much. It's been a great year. This is our final episode for the year 2021. As usually, you know, I introduce my team. Behind the ones and twos, we have my man Peyton. How you doing, Peyton?
Good, man.
Just a shout out, future owner of a gun store. Can I get claps or something, man? Wait, we got. Did you all come up with the name yet?
That's not disclosed yet.
Oh, okay, you're gonna next year. Next year?
Yeah.
We'll tease them. Like maybe second episode or third episode, you're gonna have it ready to go.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know.
Well, we're gonna let you.
I'm gonna let you know before we let everybody know.
Right,
like I gotta let you know.
Bad.
I don't know.
Nonetheless, we have our Mr. Jerry. Jerry, how you doing, Jerry? Well, you don't have no mic today, so I'm gonna just say hello. Jerry's producing behind the camera today. He's a little bit under the weather. He's like, man, I don't know if I can speak today, man. We have our artist in the house, Mr. Jacob. Hey, man, I think we should have got you a mic, but it's all good. It's all good. Love. And Mr. Man, the man of the hour, Mike Berns in the house. C4 Contractors. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
Let's go somewhere.
Okay.
I don't care where we go, but let's just move forward.
All
you know, move forward. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me.
And my name is Obi. I'm your host for Real Club, and also a realtor with XPT Realty. Hey, Mike, welcome, buddy. It's been we had planned it didn't work out, and now you're here. You're the final guest for 2021, which is big. You're also our sponsor, C4 Contractors. Yes. So I'm super excited about that. So let's just start off with men, because obviously, you know, we're an entrepreneur show, and just wanted to like kind of get your background. How did you start in becoming as an owner of the business, and maybe give people a little bit of your background from when you started out. How did you start it out?
Well, I got in roofing not actually all that long ago. It's been 4 years, but I had a little bit of construction history before that.
Okay.
I actually wouldn't say that I own the company. I'm 1099, but the gentleman that I work for is a really good friend of mine.
Okay. What's his name?
His name is Brandon Hudgens.
Brandon. Okay.
And the company is Core 4 Contractors. I've known him. His dad was my baseball coach growing up. So I've known this guy forever. They were in roofing when I was a kid. That's what their family did. So
4 years ago, you just started doing the roofing side of things. What did you do before that? Let's just start. Did you grow up here in Fort Worth?
Yeah. So I was born in West Texas in a little place called Andrews. Moved here before kindergarten, or Mansfield. Grew up in Mansfield. You never been to the suburbs, right? I grew up in Mansfield. Moved to Fort Worth as an adult.
So I've got.
What was that?
Peyton, what was it, bro?
It wasn't me.
God.
We gotta have bloopers, you know.
Yeah.
You know, entertaining.
But man, I'm totally lost. Thanks, DJP.
So you were saying, like, you know, you moved to Fort Worth,
right? Okay.
From Mansfield.
So I have lived in the DFW area for pretty much the entire memory of my life.
Okay.
So I know the area.
So right out of high school, what did you do? Or did you start it?
There you go. We were back.
Did you start it? Did you start it like really young age doing like something business side of the
Yes,
things?
actually,
or?
when I was 21, I got a job. I say got a job. I did my first 1099. I bought a bread route.
Okay.
So I owned a bread route for 3 or 4 years. Definitely was way too immature for it. Made really good money, but decided not to work at all and paid somebody else to do it. That didn't help on my taxes.
Gotcha.
And I ended up getting out of it because of just being an immature punk. But it was a great job.
Learning curve, you know, you're young, you gotta try something.
Had I kept it, I'd be working maybe like 10 hours a week and still clearing $100,000.
Wow.
But I didn't keep it, and so now we're.
Is
not
it the
doing
same? The bread business, like bread route business, is it the same or is it changed?
I have no
evolved?
idea.
You haven't even checked it.
I did that for like, I guess almost 3 years.
Okay.
So once I got out of that, that was 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
So I don't know what it's like now.
So what did you do after that?
I was the milkman.
Bread to milk, man.
Yeah, I did. I drove a truck.
Badass.
Yeah, I had to have a CDL. I delivered to businesses,
Okay.
not to homes, but
Okay.
you know.
But similar kind of like, is it like a
It's
similar?
almost the exact same thing,
Right,
but
okay.
with milk.
I got you.
Heavier product.
So you did that for a couple of years?
No, I did that for about 6 months, and
Oh, okay.
I left that.
You're like, this is not
yeah,
for me,
no,
man.
it was-
There's the reason
it was
I
bad.
got out at first place.
Both
with the
of
bread
those
business.
both of those jobs were like, hey, get up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it's
And,
way
yeah.
it's out there. So okay, so also, you know, you're a musician also. I'm gonna just kind of like, you know, go with that side too, you know. So when did your music career started? Were you into more in music or more in business? And
Well,
when did it started? Around the same time?
I've always enjoyed music making in some sort of way. When I was fresh out of high school, I started a band with some friends, and it sucked. But I moved on and went on to other bands, and so did they. Actually, one of the guitarists is a great friend of mine, and he played in the next couple bands with me. But it was all rock stuff, and I was singing in this rock band, this metal band. I screamed a lot, I would say. But when that broke up, I didn't really have anything to do, and I'm going to age myself here a little bit. But when we stopped doing that rock stuff, I tried to fill that time, and the first things that I could afford to make music was a PlayStation video game, PlayStation 2, and it was a beat maker game. And after I got that, I like did some research and found a couple more of those same type of games that they don't really make anymore. And all it was basically like Fruity Loops, if you're familiar. But Fruity Loops is just like
I don't know. I think I seen it one time, but I was like too much into like, you know, Soulcom and all that stuff.
Right,
you know?
right. But it's called MTV Music Generator.
Okay, that's what it is.
And they had another one like Funkmaster Flex Music Generator or something.
Is
like
it
that.
around the same time where Guitar Hero was getting popular?
I want to say that it was probably a little bit before. Yeah.
before.
No, let's not. It's around the time that Fiddle Hero came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so music career, and then you're actually trying to figure out what you're gonna do as an entrepreneur. And let's go back to that. And after the, you know, you had a milk business. What did you get into?
After the milk business, I actually got into engineering music, and I worked in a studio in Kennedale called, man, what was the name of that place? It was one of them. It was a really lame name. It really was.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you this experience because this experience like shaped me.
Wow.
So I got a job there. Basically, I showed them my own home recording, mixing, and stuff like this. This was an old man. His name was Lou. And Lou was a very highly skilled hider of his speed addiction. Okay, so, but he's this old tattooed up biker looking dude. He wore leather vests, but the only thing he recorded was hip hop. Now there's some really weird things that went on there. So there was one studio that he never finished, that one bay, and he kept blinds in it. And we would get these crackheads that come in there, and you had to ring a bell and have somebody answer the door. Real Talk.
Real Talk.
Real Talk Music Studios. Told you.
I'm so glad we changed our name from Real Talk to Real Club right now.
Well, for a music studio.
But that's crazy, though.
No, it gets crazier. So we'd have like these crackheads coming in here like, where's Lou? Where's Lou? And they would bring all these things in, and Lou would come to where my bay was, and he'd like, hey, stay in here for a minute or whatever. And they would go to this other bay. And one day they left it like the door cracked, and I was walking in, and or not into it, but past it, and I could see like stolen goods. And you could tell it was stolen goods because like the wires were still hanging out of it, and it was car stereos. And at that point, I'm like, oh man, he's hiding this stuff for his junkie friends. So studio-wise, he would go in every night and change the whole thing. Like it would be programmed beautifully, but he would be up all night like whatever. And the next day I'd come in, everything has changed. And like he would move studio A to studio B and then rewire everything, and the sound was always bad and you couldn't figure anything out because he moved everything around. And it was absolutely horrible. And this dude one time, and he's crazy. So he says, hey, I got to go to the airport. I need you to pick me up on the way back. And I'm cutting a lot of crazy things that happened at this place out. He said, I need you to pick me up from the airport when I come back. And I was like, okay, what's going on? He said, well, here's my real job. I work for the government, and I go to wherever AWOL soldiers are. It's like they do some pre-detective work, tell me where this guy is or hangs out, and then it's my job to go befriend them and get them to turn themselves in. And if they don't, well, then I have to be responsible for getting them caught. So he's like a middleman that tries to get them to return on their own. I don't know what the point is, whatever. And I don't know that I believe him after I finish the story. So I pick him up from the airport. I bring him back to the studio. We get to the studio, and he starts telling me, he's like, hey man, do you smoke? Do you do this? Do you do that? And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So he opens up his suitcase, and he just came from the airport, and this suitcase came with him. He opens up his suitcase, and he's got like bags full of pills. He's got all these different like air sealed, vacuum sealed bags of several different types of marijuana. But he also brought with him government bonds.
Bro,
I'm not lying to you.
I read like a James Bond movie or some shit like that, man.
So after that, I show up.
Narcos episode
right.
7.
I was supposed to be the only one of 2 people that had a key, me and him.
Wow.
I was like the lead engineer there. So I show up one day. This is afterwards. I show up one day, and there's like a whole bunch of people there. And this guy comes out to me and he goes, hey, Lou wants you to give me his key back. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. So I give him his key back. And that was it. I never went back to the place.
So at the same time, all this is going on, you're trying to have, you're still running the studio with him, like, you know, artists.
Dude, there were
people are coming, recording, you're helping them, and this is like the background.
We were
such a great plot for a 7 episode we should go get script done,
I've heard that the guy let's go get a script. I've heard that the guy has passed. Also, what makes it even weirder is, like I said, he was probably in his 60s, biker gang dude, had like a 13-pound 20, maybe 18 to 20-year-old girlfriend. She's always like doped up. Really, 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 really weird situation. But that dude swore up and down he worked for the government. I don't want to start any conspiracy theories, but yeah.
This totally needs to be a TV show.
It like, just seems like it never
Real Talk Studios behind the scenes.
And the thing was, he had, now that I even think about it, this probably was all stolen stuff. But
so like how long you were there? What was the time frame?
About 2 years. And
wow, that's a long time.
It didn't really start off like that. It started off...
it never started off like that.
I don't want to say that it didn't. So when I started, it used to be, the building that it was in used to be a salon. So it had like this U shape to it. So when you came in the front door, there's a door on both sides, and there's a divider between both sides all the way down to the back, and then there's a little bathrooms are back there where they come together basically. there's no doors to stop you from going in that U except for at the front door. So the right hand side of it was empty and still being worked on for a year. And that was supposed to have like one studio bay and then like a video section where had a green screen walls and all this stuff. And actually when I left, all that hadn't been finished except the studio section. But so he had this, it was a cool building, and there was like 2 different bays here. They had a writing room and yeah, but now that I think of it, that was all probably stolen stuff that we were recording on. And he would get new stuff stealing, and he would rotate.
Why did he ask you to get the key back? Let's go back to that.
I have no idea.
So that was probably the last time that you were there, I'm assuming.
Right. We had we had low level like Sony artists would come through, and they would have like a recording session. And that was just, they'd be in town and say, hey, can we use this studio, whatever. And Lou had these connections or whatever, so these guys would come in, and it was always just like these really odd situations. No matter who the artist was, it just became this weird thing. But like I said, the first year of it, I don't know if I was naive, but I didn't notice all of those things, and it just progressively got worse.
So that's the weird part of it. What's the good part that you were mentioning earlier that came out of that?
I learned a lot of different recording softwares.
Okay, there you go. Something you
switching them, but I also I was
and a life experience.
Absolutely, it was
how
very
old were you?
entertaining.
How old were you at this time?
22 to
to
so 24. Young.
You were like Peyton's age, pretty much.
We had like free reign of the place because he was, I guess, always on the other side doing drugs. I don't know, but we were on our side that had been finished. After a certain time, me and my homies, we'd all kick it and record music.
So you're like making money, and you have all this drama going on in the back, and you're actually learning something new.
And he always paid me.
That's good.
He never. It's like, hey man, I don't have it. Yeah.
That's badass. So that was then. What happened after that? So now you got your music stuff going.
Yeah.
Did you dive into music completely, full 100% after that, or you
honestly,
just started something else?
Unfortunately for myself, I've never actually done that.
But you have performed here, right?
Yeah. No, I'm a performer at heart.
Yeah,
it's like a totally different person. I'm not.
You need to come see a show, Obi.
I'm not the same person.
Oh, really?
It's a totally
there's a.
It's the heathen.
Okay, so you're like a Ronan to Hawkeye type deal.
I don't know. Those guys are both pretty cool. I'm not.
So you did that, and then what did you do after that?
I would say though that I did start getting more into writing my own hip hop at that point. And what happened was I did know a guy from California. He was a friend of mine. He moved out there, so he was from Texas, and I always thought he was really, really good. He had like an Andre 3000 type of feel. And when I had, right around the time I left the studio, was the first time I had a studio in my own place, like where I felt comfortable recording other people. And he flew in to record like 5 tracks, and they were on beats that I made. And I listened back to the tracks that I made, but he was still pretty dope. But he left an open verse, and he was supposed to go back and record it and send it to me, and I'd finish it. And there were some like samples in it. We could never do anything with it, but he never finished it. So that was like my introduction to, okay, I'm going to write a verse here.
Okay. So you got into writing and stuff, That's a great, like, I'm just amazed how this story is turning out to be, from being, bread route person to owning a milk brand to working in the craziest studio like your Narcos episode to becoming a writer now at this point.
Well, to make it even crazier, I guess, when I first got out of high school, I wasn't like a theater kid in high school, but I always had this dream of being in movies and acting, and I think I'm more geared towards entertainment in that regard, like than I am even in music. I feel more at home, I guess. And so I took all these acting workshops, and I went to an acting school, and I did all these things for acting. So like 18, 19, that's what I was doing. I also at the same time played American 8-man football, which is semi-pro, and I got paid to play football.
That's pretty good.
Not a whole lot.
Hey, so
About
you have
$25 a
TikTok?
game. Huh?
You have TikTok?
I do, but I don't use it.
I mean, it's meant for you, man. You
Right.
don't have to do dances or anything.
No,
like
no,
that, bro.
I get it.
There's a lot of people
I get
on
it.
there, like
So and
acting-wise,
I have
you know.
no excuse, but my
Yeah.
humor is 100% reactionary humor. So if I'm trying to like recreate something that I did, it doesn't work, and that's kind of why I'll have a lot of friends that are like, you should do stand up, and I can't because I don't tell jokes. I just react to what someone else is saying.
So they have this thing called Stitch on TikTok. So what you do is like you're watching the content, right? So you already know, people already watched that video. So you're basically coming like 10 seconds into the video and giving your own opinion.
Okay.
So you might want to check that out, man. This might be something you're calling. Reactionary wise.
I mean, I'll look into it.
Look into it, dog. Look into it. You never know. And if you do blow up, you better get me on there. So that's cool, man. So you did writing and stuff. Like, you did some music and you were writing at this point. How old are you at this point?
By the time I started like focusing in writing hip hop, probably 25-ish.
25.
25.
Okay. And how old are you now?
I'm an old A man. I'm 38.
38.
38.
Oh, you're just a baby, man. I'm like turning 41.
I might be an old baby.
So that's cool. So obviously music is a passion. It doesn't always, works out that way. You have to kind of have your full-time job and keep your career going at the same time in music industry until you blow up. So while you're doing writing and stuff, what did you get into as work-wise and stuff?
I waited tables, bartended for a while. I mean, the bread route happened when I was 22. So that was, I actually am a little bit off on a few things here. So if I got the bread route when I was 20, 21-ish, and I had that for 3 years. So that was 21 to 24. And then I went to the milk route, and that didn't even last a full year. So that was, just say 25. So at 25 is when I started at the studio. So that coincides really because around the same time as when I started writing or wanting to do some hip hop.
So then you started working like bartending and
I bartended,
early 30s and something like that.
Yeah, and I also for a very long time, and I forget about this. I guess when I first got out of high school, I worked for my dad before the bread route job. My dad owns vending machines, so
Really cool.
I ran a vending
Funny
machine.
you say
I did a
that.
vending
You were
machine
asking me, do you have one? Sean, we need a vending machine in here, dude. People be asking all the time. And then you still have a vending machine company?
My dad still has it.
There you go, Sean. Anyway, so that's cool. So you were, helping dad out at the same time.
Yeah, I did that for a while, and then at a certain point in my late 20s, maybe right around the time I was 30-ish, my dad had a heat stroke running his route, and I had gone back to college at that point, so I was in college, UTA, at that point. And when he did that, I decided, okay, I'll do all online classes, and I'll help you, and I'll run your route. So what ended up happening is I never checked into my online classes, and I failed every single one of them because I never even like checked in, never even checked my emails. And then I dropped out of school because of that, because I had 4 Fs or
There you
4
go.
whatever.
I mean, you were not into it. Not everybody's meant for college. I didn't go to college. I just kept working 2 jobs and whatnot, till today. And it's fine. College education is important, boys and girls. It's very important, but it doesn't mean that you can't make it. But if you don't go through college route, meaning you're going entrepreneur route, that means you have to work extra hard. Extra hard. Yes, you can get a job right out of high school and whatnot, and you can do it that way. That's the way I did it. I did 2 jobs. But we're gonna take a little small break. We have our artist in the house, and then we can come back and we're gonna, bring it back with Mike Berns in the house, C4 Contractor. We're gonna go over some more cool stuff with him. I just want everybody to get to know him a little bit more better. But my man Jacob is in the house.
DMG.
Yeah. Okay. Hold up.
Give them the blues with no Benjamins. Already won, we gon' win again. I keep it right as a synonym. Won't stand around no sinning, man. How I can just kill a man? I get the word, they gon' spin like a ceiling fan. Gotta stay diligent. You lack significance, we not equivalent. You just a middleman. We just ain't putting in work. I'm pissing nothing but excellence. This could get messy, and if it gets stretching, just send his belongings to Mexican. I got my weed from a Puerto Rican. He serving raw to the Mexicans. Shit, it get ugly, you fuck with my money, I'm smoking that people like Method Man. Word, we just been putting in work. Bleeding, my fingers was hurt. We thumbing through money for sport. Word, we just been putting in work. Bleeding, my fingers were hurt. We thumbing through money for sport. I came from nothing, can't humble me. I hear them hating from under me. We touching this money from A to Z. Get it? I can just play that one passing me. You play your role, yeah. I do the most, yeah. Wins on the road, yeah. Let's have a toast, yeah. Work. They see us, we're winning, they hurt. I'm back in my ball as a chorus. I'm balling and dodging the chorus. Work. Never been foolish when putting in work. I'm shooting my shot like I'm dirt. Work. We just been putting in work. Bleeding, my fingers was hurt. We thumbing through money for sport. Word.
You know what I'm saying?
We just been putting in work.
Whether you talking
Bleeding, my fingers
wardrobe,
were hurt.
whether you
We
talking
thumbing through money for
firearms,
sport.
whether you trying to get clean off drugs and you need some medication to help you get off of them drugs, man, we got Do More Good Serve. All that, man. Big shit, big plays. Hold up. Yo, I think this is my shit right here. Yo. This on the entrepreneur flow.
Silly motherfucker hating, knowing that I'm up. Now you probably got your stimmy and you blew it on a buzz down. I'ma bless my mama with some stars when she touchdown. I can hit you up on your blind, have me shut down. I got an offer on 10 different properties. I'm coming up, it ain't on top of probabilities. Your type of risk is just scratching the lottery. Honestly feeling like this my monopoly. I run the board, I pass go like I ought to be. Life is a story and this is my odyssey. I got no soul, baby, something right out of me. I'm in my zone, there's no place that I'd rather be. Hey, there ain't no place that I'd rather be. Cross take the wheel, I've been drinking and driving. My helmet strapped, I was thinking about violence. Little homie stressed, so don't think you gon' press us. I took a trip to about 10 different islands. I couldn't wait to touch back down in Texas. Fish tell the hybrid, my slab out of Tesla. Swear that I'm better than all the competitors. Last time you see me, you emptied your register. I'm not impressed by no money and diamonds. It's not what's on you, it's about what's inside you. Hard as wasabi on my calamari. Cut me a body, dropped it in the audio. Sharp as katana, Ahsoka Rosario. I'm coming harder into your silly motherfucker hating, knowing that I'm up. Now you probably got your stimmy and you blew it on a buzz down. I'ma bless my mama with some stars when she touchdown. I can hit you up on your blind, have me shut down.
I'm saying, fuck with me one time.
Now I'm gonna get live on it.
Shit. Now we gotta get live on it.
You know what I'm saying? DMG, we going all the way up.
All the way up.
Shout out True,
2022.
turn me up.
What?
I got my money on myself, fuck you mean, boy. Puerto Rican with a stick and a beam on it. Somebody looking like a lick, that ain't me, homie. I got my money on me, fuck you mean, boy. Keep my name about your mouth or put respect on it. I see lil' buddy looking froggy, tell him leave, homie. Keep my name about your mouth or put respect on it. I see lil' buddy looking froggy, tell him leave, homie. Fuck you mean you ran off on the plug. Onions only thing he frontin' that ain't coming up. Fuck you mean you's a stepper, you get stepped on. Acting gangster, pressing charges, I'm like Teflon. And we finna slide my backbones with us. I can't do no fucking time, I'ma shoot the witness. You don't take your fucking charges, you ain't square business. I got money running laps, call me Coach Fitness. You can't hit hit no stain and you can't write no verse. Got you scratching on your head trying to see your worth. You probably thinking that you can and I don't know what's worse. I'm probably pushing Benz and coupes when my kidneys hurting. Oh, that Lamborghini used to drive in Suburban. Started from the bottom, went and jotted this on purpose. I need Dom Perignon and some bottle service. Me and CJ Dipper in the city swapping jerseys. And I'm finna ride to the death of me. Ooh, I got the recipe. You can never press a G. Ooh, I'm about my cheddar cheese. Your flexing ain't impressing me. Baby counting money and she doing it right next to me. You don't want no problems cause I got my money on myself. Fuck you mean, boy. Puerto Rican with a stick and a beam on it. Somebody looking like a lick, that ain't me, homie. I got my money on me, fuck you mean, boy. Keep my name about your mouth or put respect on it. I see lil' buddy looking froggy, tell him leave, homie. Keep my name about your mouth or put respect on it. I see lil' buddy looking froggy, tell him leave, homie.
Yeah. Leave. Hey, look, man. Shout out P, man. That's all I'm gonna give y'all right. That's all I'm gonna give y'all right now. Of course, I need some water. If you wanna see more or you wanna check one of them singles out, I might be doing that on the 9th. January 9th, Haltom Live, man. Y'all tap in, man. Support y'all local people.
Welcome back, audience. You're weird. Stop
Y'all
it.
are like,
You're
okay.
the weirdest person in this room, bro.
What do I do with my hands? It's like, what do I do with my hands?
Albert Scissorhands. Hey,
You don't-
Jacob
he doesn't know.
Berns in the house, the artist. Look him up everywhere. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google him. You know, thank you so much. Can we get some claps,
Dope-ish.
DJ? You know, calling us.
Okay, and hey, it's Jacob Berns.
There you go.
Just for the people to know, to
Jacob
search it
Berns.
up. Berns, but like people would have put you,
I got you.
so it's
It's an
Berns.
There
Jacob
you go.
Berns.
Look him up, guys. Look him up. And we have Mike Berns also in the house.
No relation. And that is a B-U-R-N-S.
Mike is also an artist. You can find him everywhere.
But
well,
not
what's
under
your yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you.
My artist name is Michael Heathen.
Okay.
And I've been called that my entire life.
Okay.
My middle name is Heath, so my family's called me Michael Heathen. But you can find everything under that all over the place. And then Gloat ENT also, if you Google that, has quite a bit of stuff. Most of our videos.
If you
and
haven't
stuff
checked
are
out
on
their stuff, they did perform like earlier in the year. So if you go scroll down to our artist section and open mic section, you should be able to find them.
Yeah.
It was a great performance, by the way.
One
You
of
know.
the best.
It was fun. That was a lot of fun. All right, so back to our entrepreneur stuff and, you know, talking about life and everything else. And I know you guys, by the way, before I start the second session of this podcast, shout out to all our sponsors this year to support us. You know, obviously Mike here with C4 Contractors, Evolve Bank, Every Angle Inspections, and who else we got? Robinson Agency, and who we're missing somebody? XPT Realty.
Yeah, XPT.
XPT Realty.
Of course.
I think we
Shout out all the sponsors that sponsor
Huh?
this show.
Thank you for sponsoring.
Chris Every Angle Inspection.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it, right?
Every
Evolve,
angle,
yeah, I think
core.
and then we have Farmers Insurance, Robinson. Well, you know, we just want to shout out and all. Another thing I want to do. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you sponsored, you know who you are. Thank you.
Also, I want to shout out to all of the artists that came through here and performed. And time is money, and they put their time in here, and you know, they got some content out of it, and I hope they get big deals. But obviously, they came like Jacob is here today, so take the time to drive here and perform. So we really appreciate it. Session Studio.
Session Work Studios.
Sessions Work. Sean in behind the scenes right here, engineering, producing. I forgot to introduce him in the beginning of episode, and obviously Peyton. Thank you, Peyton, for all year long, and Jerry for doing what he does. All of it.
One of the reasons I moved back to Texas.
Also a dope artist.
Also a dope artist. T-Rod.
You just named a bunch of dope
We have a lot. Like we have 4 dope. Or wait, yeah, there's 4. I was like, Hey, where's the rap?
too.
Hey, where's the rap at, Obi? Where is the rap, Obi? We want the realty
Real
rap.
name, no gimmicks.
Hey, you
I'm
said by the end of
working
the
on
year.
it. I know, bro.
It's 12/21,
It's still
bro.
not. It's not till like 31st yet.
you
Hey,
not.
You gotta
Hey,
help me out, dog.
January 1st. I expect.
What's your rap name?
Yeah. Obi Trice, real name, no gimmicks.
Hey.
That's a gimmick already. That's someone else's name.
I haven't came up with it.
How
I
about
guess
Lil
we
Obi-Wan?
Lil Obi.
Lil Obi-Wan.
Lil Obi-Wan. Okay, there you go. Mike already did that, so there you go.
He needs help.
Yeah, I need a lot of help and a lot of people.
He
a lot of help. Every day. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of like thank everybody beginning of the show. And hey, the toy drive we did. Peyton was there.
Oh yeah, that toy drive was awesome.
Smooth. That was great for kids for holidays.
How many was it again? It was a lot. Like I remember it being a lot. I don't remember the number.
Like people?
No, I'm talking about how many toys. It was like thousands of.
Yeah, I mean
there was like 10,000 or something.
It was a lot. We didn't count it. Obviously.
Well, there was a post about it, but I don't remember. I feel like it was like 10,000 or more.
Something like that.
It was
Plus
like that.
money,
it was a lot.
and people gave money, and there was toys and everything else. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of kids happy. That's all that matters.
I brought a
at the
Nerf
end.
gun.
You did.
I brought a Nerf
Good
gun.
job, gentlemen.
That's awesome.
Good job.
So back to Mike. Mike, so you got. You want to just sing it, bro? Sing it, bro.
Back to reality. Go ahead. What do you got?
Go ahead, get
No,
a couple
that's
of verses out the way.
Get down.
That's not my song.
Well, I know. I know. But listen, so you got into construction. When did you get back into construction? And then we're going to talk about a little bit of adversity right after that, and we're going to finish the show with some wisdom.
Okay, so I guess construction-wise, that was my mid-30s.
Mm-hmm.
No, early 30s. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So,
Roofing 4 years ago.
4 years ago. You like it, though,
I
so
love
far?
it. It's amazing.
Great company, though. You guys
Yes.
are doing a great job,
Absolutely, thank you.
though. And as far as you all of DFW, like
Yes,
company-wise?
we're all of DFW. Depending on the size of the job we travel, we do a lot of commercial stuff in separate areas. Like,
Okay. Walmarts and Walgreens?
well, nothing that big yet, but I mean, actually, roofs that are larger than that, but not.
Like buildings?
Walmart's huge.
Strict-
Walmart has certain roofers that they kind of use for Walmart, right?
Yeah, just reference point. Like as far as like strip malls and having like office buildings and stuff like that you guys are doing. Some big in commercial and residential also.
Mostly residential, but we like I said, we do commercial.
Yeah, and we had this big tornado recently. Is your team out there, or you guys are not going out there?
We did not go out there.
You did not.
We
But
don't.
it was devastating to see that. A lot of people don't understand. You guys go right after incident like that happens. So just being courteous to the people that lost their roofs or houses and whatnot. You're there in the middle of it most of the time.
Generally, if it's a storm that size, like we had a tornado around here 2 years ago, ripped through Dallas and Arlington.
Right.
You feel like you're going out there on to work. Like, okay, get up. Actually, I say you feel like that. You expect that to be what is going to happen. And like going and knocking doors. Hey, can we help you? But that's not at all how it is. You find these pockets, these neighborhoods that you go out, and that's kind of the expectation in your mind. And then as soon as you pull up, you just see it's like destruction. And you end up helping clean things up and do things more than you ever do anything with your company. And I don't know if that's a selling point or not, but
yeah, that's actually really good though. You guys are actually helping the community at the same time. Not only you serving the community, you're actually helping the community.
Yes.
rebuild and get back to normal life and everything else. So adversity. So tell me, like, one or two times that you really, really failed, and I'm sure you have. Everybody has,
Yeah.
And then, maybe experience if you want to share it.
Man, I don't know that I've ever failed. I think I've always gained from anything where I've done something wrong. So I don't know if I'd look at it as failure. And I can't really look at my life and just say, like, man, if I did this. I don't know that I have any of those moments either. I think that I made some decisions that I wish I didn't, but I've been fairly lucky to not ever run into, like, okay, I'm hooked on drugs and I've got to make some sort of decision, or I'm an alcoholic and I've got to decide between this and this. I've been lucky enough to not find myself in those situations. So I guess failure is that I'm not where I want to be, but I wouldn't say that I failed because I've gotten closer and closer and closer. I've actually, from a music standpoint, like, I kind of have done everything that I've thought to do. I've performed with my favorite artist. I've performed with some of the biggest names in all of hip hop, from Wu-Tang down, and also Tech Nine and some others. And like, I would say that my resume is, top of the line. Thank you. So I don't even know that all of that stuff I set out to do, because
So let me rephrase it. Any experience that you had so far that made you reevaluate in some sort of way?
If I'm going to look at a failure, I would say this one moment, and I don't know that I reevaluated, but it was due to lack of preparation. So some of these gentlemen might know this. DFW, there's a lady named Callie D, and she calls herself like the hip hop soccer mom or whatever. And she I think that's what it is. She had this Master of the Mic competition for like 4 or 5 years. In the first few years, they had some fairly big names that came and judged it or were part of it. And one of my, I was also in a band called the Boxer's Brain, which was a full ensemble band. We had 2 drummers, bass player, guitarist. It was hip hop. But the other rapper from that group was performing in the Masters of the Mic, and I was not. And he got to a certain round, and in a certain round you could have a like a guest feature on your set. And so he asked me if I would do that, and I went up there and I had what I thought was this cold verse, and I got like 4 bars in, forgot where I was at, and like almost froze. And I remember my reaction to it was to take my hat off and turn around and throw it. And so I knew then that he didn't mess up, I messed up, but it was his set, and the reason that I messed up because I just wasn't ready for it. And then instead of being graceful and playing it off the best I can, I showed my ass and like.
But this is what experiences make you stronger, right there.
Yeah.
So it's not a failure actually.
No, yeah,
it's actually
I don't see it as a failure,
experience
but I
that
did let him down.
that you actually you think you should have done in a different way, and I think a lot of people go through that, and Jerry.
Every artist has done
actually,
that. Every single one.
And I'm
Every
sure
single one of us has
everybody,
done that at least once.
But
even
not all
me,
of you
like,
turn around and throw
remember
your hat.
my first episode?
No,
like
I freestyled.
My first episode, like, my guest co-host didn't show up, and I was super pissed off, and you can probably see it on one of the first ones, and I was furious. Like, I was just mad doing the whole thing, and you can just feel it on my face, and I know it just not a good.
It was
thing.
Obi Hulk.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was before any of this. Like, it was just me doing, it was solo thing. But yeah, no, that's cool, man. So you learn from it, you move on, and you get better.
Right.
That's what you do, Now, as far as like advice goes for a lot of people, like going into either business-wise, changing careers and getting into roofing or whatever it is that they love doing, or even like artists out there, you have some advice for some young kids? Because a lot of young kids listen to it.
Absolutely. I think my advice holds a lot of water, honestly, and only because of things that I've been through. But what I would say is, if you have a passion, and it's an art, and that is a creation. If you are a creator, it is going to be expensive. That does not mean that you have to sacrifice your creations for some sort of job or idea that you have to have a job to do these things. If you dive into stuff and you really tackle it, when you start to knock that out, things start to happen. And when you create things, sometimes it doesn't take, you may do stuff for 4 years and not have anything, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I've got 16,000 followers or monthly listeners on Spotify, or I've got nearly 1 million plays, or I've got, and though it's an unfortunate situation in this world that you don't really get paid well for any of those things, you're validating what you're doing by creating and seeing a return on it, regardless of what that income is. And you can only judge success by how you feel about something. So if passion is what you are after and you want to go after those things, do not measure your success by what anybody else thinks. Measure it by what it is that you feel accomplished in. And that's it. That's the bottom line. You don't ever have to look back. If you feel like you did what you wanted to do and you enjoyed it, whether you made $1 million or you made $7, somebody respected you were a selling artist. You have created something that somebody else bought, and you have made and made commercial business too at the same time. And I think that's an amazing feeling, regardless of whether you sell one
money is
painting
not
or
always
a million.
money is not always the return of
No,
your
and,
passion,
and that's
you know?
something that people with passions understand, but
Yeah.
they also, a lot of times when they first get into it, they don't understand that it's going to take a lot of putting in, and that's a financial thing too, because if you paint or whatever your medium is, you have to have materials, and as you get better at what it is that you do, you upgrade your materials. So even if you haven't sold one, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm this good with this stuff. It's time for me to invest a little bit more and see what I can do with these tools. And you just keep getting better tools, and eventually you're like, okay, well, I've put in my 10,000 hours, and I feel like I'm a genius at this stuff. I'm gonna put myself out there now, and sometimes for some people that's just.
Some people are like, it takes just example, 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz, he was around
boy?
Yeah, man, he was around for a long time before he got his break, so.
But
and
he
then
was successful beforehand, though.
He was, but like, mainstream way,
And he's incredibly intelligent. He's got a couple degrees and business degrees. Very business oriented.
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. So great advice, man. That's awesome. And yeah, anything, it's a craft. Anything you do, like you're gonna do gun business, Jerry. It's gonna take a lot of hours. Yes, it's exciting, but whenever you get down to like accounting and all that, no, I'm encouraging him. No, don't laugh.
No, I'm not. It's not.
It's a
That's not
serious
what I'm
thing.
laughing about.
You're a business owner now, so I mean, what he's saying is, it takes the same amount of yes, it is a passion. You have to treat it like, you love it and it's your passion, and also treat it like, you're gonna.
Oh yeah, that's how I am with my my DJing. Like I just
Yeah.
did a Chick-fil-A Christmas party.
What? Can you do that? Doo-doo. What's going on? Why are you're not gonna do it? All right, good job.
Yeah, it
Good
was
job.
cool.
So exciting. I remember when you were coming down from Arizona about a year ago.
Well,
You're
yeah,
like,
I was visiting.
All right.
Was.
That's awesome, man. I think this podcast is just one podcast. I think we need to get into it a lot more deeper. I think you have a lot more to offer on our podcast. You probably have to co-host one of these days, brother.
Okay.
Because I think you have a lot more to give to our audience, and and express yourself. I think you're very artistic, besides the businessman. You're more artistic than a businessman.
Yeah, I think I am as well. But
And I think we should have Chris on this podcast, So you're gonna.
Well, we're
really
gonna have to
enjoy-
have a gloat.
Yeah.
On the podcast.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to actually have Chris on here. Chris with it's our buddy Chris Courtier. He owns an inspection company, but he used to be a race car driver. And
See the taller guy?
He's the taller guy, the white guy.
I think when we performed, he was on.
He was
I
on.
think so.
Yeah, he was. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so
The character Chris.
Character Chris, yeah. But having you guys have a conversation, that'll be awesome, you know. But other than that, thank you so much, man.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate
Thank you,
for
Obi.
you know. Sorry we missed you last time. Well, shit happens, guys. All right.
Absolutely.
But to everybody, our audience, podcast, you know, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, thank you so much. Happy holidays. Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays.
Happy New Year. We will see you after this year's over. 2022 is going to be big for Real Club. I'm super excited. We're going to have special guests like, you know, Mike is here. We're going to have more and more people come in, and it's going to get brighter and brighter and brighter.
So
you know.
we hope y'all are ready for 2022.
2022. You want to say something, Jerry, real quick?
Jerry
Happy
has
New Year
no
or
comments.
something. Sean, thanks for always hosting us, man. All right, guys, this is Drill Club, and my name is Obi. Be blessed, be happy. Take it easy. Man down. The second part got really, really awesome, bro. We need to have you on again. We gotta like.
I'm married to the game, players never change.